Hi, I'm Paul. Have you ever wanted to add music or some other audio to the background of your video, but when you start talking, that volume of the music automatically goes down? That's called audio ducking, and I'm going to show you how to do it in DaVinci Resolve. Okay, it's really not that difficult to do. So what I've done, I've dragged a 30-second music clip that's on what it says A2. I renamed it music. You can just double click and just change the names of these tracks, audio or video. And then I took a clip that I from a video I made earlier this year and just dragged it onto the timeline, and then I chopped it up. So what you want to do is set an in and out point. So just press the letter I for in, come to the end of the video and press O for out. So yeah, all I did was chop it up. So there's a section here with just music, and then part of the clip and I'm speaking, and then another section with just music, and then end it with me speaking again. So once you've and again, when you do this, you'll just have one long video clip. We probably won't chop it up like this. I mean, maybe you would, but this is just to show you an example of how this works. So once you've got your video clip with your audio and music or whatever else you want to use in the background behind and it can be anything. It can be any audio. It could be traffic that you recorded, or birds chirping, or rain and thunder. It could be anything. So once you've got that on the both tracks, come over to Fairlight, and then I'm going to put some headphones on, and so I'll show you what to do. Okay, so we're in Fairlight. Come to the upper right-hand corner of the screen. Make sure Inspector, Meters, and Mixer is selected, and you're going to see this. You'll see the mixer over here. Because I'm using 4K monitors and I've got my UI interface set to 200%, there's the only way to see this bus sends and this bus outputs is by hovering over this area and using my mouse scroll wheel to scroll. And that's because I did a video about this earlier. If you come over to DaVinci Resolve, Preferences, make sure User and UI Settings selected. Down here, UI Display Scale. I have to have it set to 200% to see it. If you have 150% or less, you will see this will be all on one panel. You won't have to scroll. But if you don't see it, just put your mouse wheel over here, just hover over it and use your mouse pointer, and then just scroll down, pulling your mouse wheel back towards you. We're going to get to this, what we need to do here in a second. So I renamed this voice and I renamed this music. So this is A1 is track 1, A2 is track 2. It doesn't change it over here. If this is a problem, this was recorded earlier this year, a video that I did. It's in mono, but for some reason when I brought it in and it looks like a stereo track. Same thing with the music, although I don't believe it's actually a stereo track. But if that might be a problem if it is stereo, and if it is, just click on the track, right mouse click, come down here to change track type to and select mono, and do it for both of them. And if you record something and it looks like it's a stereo track and you want mono, just do that. So what we need to do, and again, this doesn't have anything to do with getting the proper loudness levels, but this is good because it was something that I already recorded earlier. And I've done videos about getting the proper loudness levels for outputting to YouTube. So what I would do first is bring in the vocals, your audio, your voice, and get it to the proper loudness levels and get any background noise reduction, everything done. And then at the end, bring in the music or whatever you want to use. It can be music, it could be rain, thunderstorms, traffic, it could be anything. So let me go ahead and play this for you. We haven't done anything to it other than change it to mono tracks. When I decided to get serious about photography back in 2015, I went on YouTube. So what I want is to push that music down when I'm talking into the background. Okay, so to do that, so this is the voice track. You see where it's under A1. Make sure, I think this is just a kind of a standard practice. This order, it's already done. I already selected it. Default is effects, dynamics, and equalizer. I believe you always want to have the equalizer process first, the effects second, and then the dynamics. You want to make sure that's on both of your audio tracks. This is going to give you the dynamics. So just double click on this. Then it's going to open up, and I'm going to show you what I use as the settings that work for me, and you can always adjust this. You want to make sure that this dynamics is turned on, and you can tell if it's on because you see the screen. If you turn it off, it goes gray. You want to turn the compressor on. We want to get the threshold. I'm setting it mine to -9. You can't type it in here. You have to use the wheel, but it's not. It doesn't have to be exact. The mix I set to 40. The attack I set to 1 millisecond. Hold I set to 100 milliseconds. Again, if this doesn't work for you, you can always change it. And then you want to select send. We're going to send this to the bus. So with your vocals, with your voice track, you're going to select send. And then you can just close that. Now we're going to come over to the track 2, which is the music. Same thing, make sure that it's turned on, turn the compressor on. And I set this to -45. I set the mix to 10. Same thing with this 1 millisecond, 100 milliseconds. And this is just to make it smoother when the music or when my voice starts and stops. Now you want to select listen. And then you can go ahead and close it. So now I want to come over here where you see where it says bus sends and bus output. So before it was just bus 1 and bus 1 on each track. Now it says on the vocal, on my voice track, it says sidechain was added. So you want to come up here where it says bus sends. Under A2, click on the plus sign, select sidechain, and then just drag this out. Now you'll see the sidechain. It wasn't there before. It's a second bus. Now let's play. If this works right, when I press play, the music is going to play. And then one other thing, because the music's going to be kind of loud, you can come down under A2, and you can see where it says music. I'm going to drop this down, and I know because I've done this earlier, to -6 dB. So it's not so loud. And now when I start talking, that music should track, that volume should be pushed down. When I decided to get serious about photography back in 2015, I went on YouTube and tried to find as much information as possible to make a decision on what kind of camera to buy. Eventually, I settled on a Nikon D5500. I purchased. Now, what we can do is, if that's, we can come back up to A2. Again, I have to use my mouse wheel to get to the music track. If I want, I can turn this mix down a little bit more or the threshold, so it pushes the music into the background. But this is a gain reduction meters. You'll see this turn blue here as it's playing. So let's drop this down to, let's say, 5. And the music will be pushed down a little bit more. When I decided to get serious about photography back in 2015, I went on YouTube and tried to find as much information as possible to make a decision on what kind of camera to buy. Eventually, I settled on a Nikon D5500. I purchased it from... So let me play this, and I'm going to adjust this mix as it's playing. When I decided to get serious about photography back in 2015, I went on YouTube and tried to find as much information as possible to make a decision on what kind of camera to buy. Eventually, I settled on a Nikon D5500. I purchased it from Best Buy. So you can play around with the threshold. Only goes to -50, and I've already got it at -45. But if you want, you can turn it down there. But that doesn't sound too bad. I mean, turning it down to the mix down to 5. Eventually, I settled on a Nikon D5500. I purchased it from... So that might work better. But again, it's just personal preference. And that's what's called ducking, audio ducking. So anytime I speak, it's going to push that that music track over that other audio track. It's going to push the volume down, and then it'll bring it back up. So I think that's kind of neat. It's actually pretty easy to do. And then I also added a limiter on the bus, and the reason for that was to keep this true peak, which again, this is from clipping and causing distortion. So I just set that to -2 decibels for the true peak. But that was all done in a different video about getting the proper audio levels that I did a little earlier this year. So again, just a kind of trying to keep it as a quick video for audio ducking. So I hope this helped, and thanks for watching.